Hello, one and all. This is the first match of the second round for Big Boi Boss Battles. And this fight makes me a little bit nervous. This is the third time I'm trying to record this. It's a doozy. So, on the left, we've got Chonkyboi by Anickle, and on the right, the Anime Swordsman Class Battlebruh by Arthr. And as we know, Chonkyboi brings a sizable amount of firepower to the battle, while the swordsman brings its tricks and horribly, horribly slows down my system. So let's just hope we can get through this fight. And without further ado, let's begin. So the swordsman will be teleporting in shortly, as it is wont to do. And I'm just going to maintain my distance at this point. Now I see I've changed my settings a little bit, so hopefully hopefully I can actually get through the entire battle here. I'm sorry that it's not very detailed, but yeah, I've got to do what I've got to do. For some reason, this battle, the Battlebruh has not done its teleportation trick, and I am not sure why. It's first time it has not. My game is slowing down. And I'm just gotta let it do its processing. So yeah, the Chonkyboi taking a large initial hit from the Battlebruh and going down a sizable chunk. It's possible that the Battlebruh actually has collided, and the details are just taking time to catch up. I'm not sure, but that amount of damage typically happens when it brings those swords in. And yeah. That happens. Okay, so yeah, that huge explosion you just saw is what has crashed my system the last two times I've run this battle. Luckily we got through it this time. And I'm not entirely sure what causes that. I think it might be the swords hitting the water. Either that or there's an explosion going on. And, you know, I can't honestly from this distance tell you what it is. But as we can see, Chonkyboi has done its share of damage to the Battlebruh, even in this short amount of time, bringing down the swordsman by about 4%, a little over. Even though it's had its fair share of damage from that alpha strike, that melee alpha strike from the Battlebruh. And yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be a long battle. It's running very slow, but if it's running at all, I'm happy at this point. So, the Battlebruh taking quite a bit of damage now as some of those crams find their mark. Not quite evening it up, but bringing it close. At this point, with only just over a minute of actual time in the battle having elapsed, it's anyone's call. The Battlebruh, okay, so Chonkyboi has escaped the clutches of those swords, and one thing I've noticed from a little bit of testing with the swordsman is it's It's not great if it can't point itself at the opponent. If it can be outsteered, then it's in trouble. As all of those weapons are front side. The crams, the melee, the teleportation. It needs to actually be able to find the opponent. Otherwise, it's just a sitting duck. Well, as you can see, it tried a very short amount of teleportation there. It just brought itself forward a few meters in a sort of stutter step. And it's just getting eaten into now by Chonkyboi, which has repaired itself up over the swordsman. And this is the best possible situation that Chonkyboi can find itself in. Getting those pot shots off. And we saw another teleportation attempt that didn't go anywhere. Just sort of blinked out of existence for a moment. Sword is still there. However, the other side, the sword has been taken out. Still there on the bottom as well. So, still has the chance of catching the Chonkyboi in its clutches if it manages to teleport up and catch the Chonkyboi, but that withering barrage of cram fire is certainly going to impede things. I want to take a quick look here. Now, there's been some debate on whether Chonkyboi was bringing crams to the field, or excuse me, whether it was bringing APS. And it does look like there is one APS turret here, or well, two. I'm sorry, two triple firing timed frag APS turrets, and so Chimera is right. However, it is indeed more a cram vessel, but there is APS. So you were remembering correctly, Chimera. Even though the cram is probably what's bringing the total firepower for the ship up to its devastation levels. Especially when you see that kind of damage from one cram shell. Yep, another one just getting back in there, making a party popper of the Battlebruh. And we've got some slowdown. I'm gonna back myself off just in case. Oh, that was a cram that mortar shell that hit. And yeah, so now the swordsman is in trouble. It's been brought rather low in its pursuit of Chonkyboi, unable to catch up, unable to bring those swords to bear. I'm not certain if the teleportation has been critically injured. It looks like it's possible that it's not able to teleport the full length. Some of those it looks like every one of these has been disconnected somewhere or other along the line. So it's very likely that the teleportation range has been clipped in what it's capable of. And yep, so there we just saw it stutter a little bit, trying to teleport, not really going anywhere, but that is also because it's not actually pointing itself directly at the opponent. Its control is set up where it won't teleport itself past the opponent, and when it's in this sort of ring around the rosy kind of tag game of circling each other, then it's not going to teleport very far. And of course, Chonkyboi, being a broadsider, well, far more so, is able to get those firing arcs on the swordsman without any trouble. And those mortar crams coming very, very close. You can see some blocks fell off. I think they did miss, but there may have been some splash damage from the fragments. And every once in a while you just see one of these puddles of blocks that the swordsman is sort of like had splashed out of it. Yep. Chonkyboi knows all your tricks. You've used your most powerful techniques. And now he's got your number. I'm just bouncing there through. And yeah, you can see, as we saw in the first round with the Wark, just the pure, like, corking, Swiss cheesing, like, I've run out of words to describe the style and amount of damage going on here. It's just deleting sections of the ship. It's like someone came through with some giant child's hand with a big old eraser and just scribbled out parts of the ship. And Arthr, of course, not left with any weapons up top. It's only got those melees and these underneath, which are not firing. Even though now the Chonkyboi should be within its sights. Perhaps it's lost all of its ammo. Perhaps it's been disconnected in some way here. Yeah, all of the cram and everything up top taken out, even though now is when you most need it. Well, perhaps you will have a chance for redemption in the second round. But I must let this play out. The final HP standings do play a factor in pairings for each round. And Arthr's ship now drawing close. Seems the Chonkyboi is run out of the will to run. Well, not like it was really running. It's more like if you can't catch me, you can't win, kind of. Kiting. Definitely kiting its opponent. And there went the front nose section of Arthr's ship, just completely disconnected. And 2 damaged. It will be disappearing, unfortunately, before being able to reach Chonkyboi and cause any further harm. So that one is going to be a win for Chonkyboi, and I will bring up the next rounds as the Battlebruh shall be disappearing. Okay, so once again, I do expect there to be a moment of somewhat dangerous slowdown and lag involved in this battle as well when those swords first crash down. So I will once again at least start the battle from afar. And let's see how this goes. So for those of you noticing that I may be talking at somewhat normal speeds, I am caffeinated. Huzzah. Nothing like the joys of coffee. Once again, it seems the Battlebruh opting not to teleport right away. I am curious if this has something to do with my settings. Nope, it just took it a while. And the teleportation there was somewhat short. Whether it gets in there to catch up or not, still going to get myself a little bit further away. And that splashdown happens. Better for me to be back here. Right, so it seems like the sword on Battlebruh's right came down prematurely. However, the harpoons seem to have latched on. Hard to tell from here. You can see the mortar shells going way up into the air and coming back down. Instance of slowed down, missiles coming in, and those two are harpoons which have attached. Whether or not they are capable of bringing the Battlebruh into melee is uncertain. The circling seems to not be at quite the extreme angle it was before. The Battlebruh is still able to bring its crams to bear at this point and teleporting ahead. However, still not closing to melee. And the harpoons having been left behind. But of course the mortars also falling wildly inaccurate from the teleportation. And Chonkyboi, fully healed up, has not taken damage from this fight as of this point. The swordsman, on the other hand, starting to get some wear and tear. There's another teleport saving it from some of that APS and cram fire, but Chonkyboi quickly re-aiming, bringing those guns to bear from that short hop. And eating into the top of the Battlebruh, I am going to get a closer look to see how the crams are holding up, which, yeah, they're not. So I saw the tops of the turret caps here and thought maybe there was a chance there was some still active, but no, they've been chewed into. And yes, unfortunately, that broadside on broadside, Chonkyboi has a distinct advantage. Arthr's ship not built for broadside engagement at all. Armor scheme not meant for broadside. Weapon scheme not meant for broadside. It is out of its element. Ever putting up a valiant effort in trying to chase down Chonkyboi. Without harpoons to bring, I don't think there's much chance of it catching up. The warp, as we saw, falling far short at this point. Oh, we have a cram firing. Let's chase this little guy. And it misses. Disappointing. Useless. However, some of the cram from the other side also skipping happily off the water and not hitting the mark. So what do we have here? This looks like part of the sword. Which has been stripped off on both sides. Still have the one on the bottom, but that's not likely to do enough. Battlebruh, alright. Has lost enough turrets. It is almost to 55. And the battle shall be ending very shortly with the amount of firepower Chonkyboi has brought. And that is now below 55. It is 2 damaged and will be disappearing very shortly. Does not seem to have any active weapons. I do not need to wait for the complete despawn. Chonkyboi by Anickle has won both of the fights in this match. So Chonkyboi will be moving on in the winner's circle with 2 wins to its name. The Anime Swordsman, 1 win, 1 loss. So I'll be running the next fight here shortly. Until then, as ever, enjoy.